Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Madeline Media. I've been receiving a lot of amazing feedback on my last video, and I wanted to thank you guys so much, everyone who watched that over 1 hour long video. I did heed your advice about the mirror. I'm doing my best to block it, but also please be mindful of the fact that I live in New York City and make $20 an hour. So it's not going to be a superstar studio setup quite yet, okay? But I will do my best to avoid glares, whatnot. Just like last week's video, I may have to avoid the camera a little bit, and that's because this week's video is not just the title you clicked on, which is scientifically ranking all of the Glee characters. But I have a special guest this week. My special guest is my sister, Olive. Olive, how are you?
I'm so good. Stop. I thought you literally didn't say anything, guys. Stop. Just stop.
Oh, brother. Olive and I are both massive Gleeks. You're a geek.
You're a
Gleek. I'm a Gleek. You're a geek. That is a promo that they did for season. I'm gonna have to add that in there now because people aren't gonna know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
I'm a Gleek.
You're a geek.
I'm a Gleek.
You're a geek.
I'm a Gleek.
You're a geek.
I'm a Gleek.
You are a geek.
I'm a Gleek.
I'm a Gleek.
I'm a Gleek.
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 Geek.
But basically, I thought this would be an interesting sort of, dichotomy in terms of filming this video because I was old enough that I was a Gleek when it originally aired. So when the pilot aired, I was 8 years old and I watched every single episode of all 6 seasons live as they aired on Fox. And also I had Glee fan accounts, some of which are still up that I can't get taken down.
Yeah. My favorite post my sister has ever made is she had a Dianna Agron fan account. And
It was technically a Glee fan account.
No, but you only
but it leaned very heavily Dianna Agron. Yeah.
And she posted a Glee promo, and it's of Finn, Rachel, Kurt, and all she captioned it was Glee, ... No, Dianna. I think it's the greatest.
Wildly applicable to life, by the way. I think that all the time. The State of the Union. No Diagram. Something's amiss here. So yes, I am a lifelong Gleek. I have met Leah Michele about 13, 14 times. So do that with that information what you will. I had a Glee themed 12th birthday party where we rented out a private theater to screen the Glee 3D concert movie, and we asked everybody to please avoid eating the Rachel themed cupcakes because those were mine. Help yourself. The Finn cupcakes, the Mercedes cupcakes, go batshit. But Rachel, please.
And I was there, and
touch.
I was at the time not a Gleek. So
and Olive, she was too little at the time that Glee was a phenomenon to really understand what was happening with it. And so, for reference, she was 1 when the pilot aired. So we watched it together as sisters in the pandemic, and now Olive is a massive Gleek too. She's caught up not just on the show, but on all of the show lore, and is very familiar with the entire cast, crew, theories, Michigas.
Glee lore than I do about American history, and I think that's beautiful.
I think Glee lore is American history, so watch your tone. So, like this video states, we are going to be ranking the Glee characters scientifically, and the breakdown of this using numbers and categories, because we are scientists.
We are very
Gleeologists, if you will.
Yep.
Is for each character, there's 3 categories. The first category is comedy. How funny are they? How much do they make you laugh? And this obviously can be involuntary, voluntary, whatever. It's just comedy. It is a comedy show. How good are they at making you laugh and how funny are they? The second category is musicality. This should be pretty obvious. It's just, do they slay? Or do they slay? Or do they not slay? In terms of the musical performances.
It's gonna be crazy if anyone gets a 1 because it's quite literally about a Glee club. It is. I feel like you have to. Never mind.
Well, we'll see. And then the third, and I believe the crushing blow for many of these characters, the third category is storyline. Now, I should make it clear that Ryan Murphy and his terrorist organization of writers are the main cause of why, if anybody is ranked low in this category, it's his fault, okay? It's not the actor's fault. It's not even the character's fault. Like, we know that they were doing the best with what they were given, but I did try to be honest about people's storylines and if it went completely off the rails. And I'm going to be pretty generous towards the fact that seasons 5 and 6 exist, but they don't exist.
Season 5 and 6 just aren't canon. They
Right.
like exist, but it's like it's not like real. And also, I just want it to be known that we are big Glee fans, but I would, if I ever was in a room with Ryan Murphy, beat the shit out of him. Need to make that clear. This is not a Ryan Murphy safe zone.
Well,
Not a safe zone.
it's not going to be when we get to the storyline portion of the categories. So, without further ado, I think that we should get into it with the first character that I have absolutely no bias towards in any way, shape, or form. And that is just simply the best character of the show.
It's just not true. It's just not.
It's the best character on TV of the past 40 years.
Not
Tony
true.
Soprano found dead.
Well,
Ms. Shulberry. Oh, yay!
you can't tell from the fact that Madeline has met Lea Michele 14 times. She's currently wearing a Funny Girl shirt, and I know damn well she has more than one Lea Michele shirts, including one that was no longer sold. And when she met Lea, when I was with her, she was like, "How do you have that shirt?"
I should honestly do like a separate video just talking about every single time I've met Lea Michele. But the long story short of that is I met her wearing a shirt that I got at one of her concerts, and she told me that it was recalled because the way that the design was like on, I don't know, like added to the shirt, it made it turn green. So she like looked really green on it, which I didn't even notice because she's so stunning until she said that to me. But she was like, "How do you have this shirt? It was recalled." And I was like, "Exclusive merch?" Yeah. So let's get into it, shall we? With our first category, we will be ranking on a scale of 1 through 5. And the first one is comedy. How much do they make us laugh? Haha. Funny. And for Rachel, I gave her a 5 out of 5. Fucking hysterical.
I also gave Rachel a 5 out of 5. I think at times her comedy is the best is when she doesn't realize she's like being annoying or a bad person. I think that is the beauty of her character. Like every time, like the episode of Rocky Horror where it's like, or no, not a good Glee fan. The episode of West Side Story where it's like, oh, the musical's being almost canceled. She's like, "You can't cancel my musical." That is
I was thinking of changing my name to Maria. I think that in season 1, the montage of her in every school club, including the Black and Muslim students' unions, alone is funnier than a single word that's probably ever been uttered on Friends. Olive likes Friends and I don't.
Okay, moving on from that.
I'm just going to say the cast of Hacks found dead
Okay.
because Rachel Berry was in the Muslim students unit. That is so funny on its own. It's just, I really like that everything that makes Rachel funny is character based. It's never like a joke that could be given to anybody else. Every single thing that she says and does that's really funny is something that only Rachel could and would say. And I think that that is the best type of comedy. It's like when you think about the great sitcoms of all time, like Parks and Rec, it's like you couldn't give a Leslie line to Ron. And I feel very much the same about Rachel. It's like you couldn't give a Rachel line to anybody else on that cast. Nobody else is going to say, "I'm like Tinkerbell, I need applause to live."
Exactly.
So we're in agreement there. Not much to scuffle over. 5 out of 5 comedy. The next category, she really has a hard time in this arena.
Yeah.
Musicality. Poor thing.
Poor thing. If anyone, because I've seen like this conversation like online, it's like, who is the best singer in Glee Club? And anytime someone doesn't say Rachel, I feel like an angel loses its wings.
Yeah.
5 out of 5. By the way, she's the best singer. She's the reason why that show exists. She's the main character of the show. And just because obviously she's the main character, obviously doesn't automatically mean that she's the best singer. But she was on Broadway twice before she was on this little when did it air? Fox show. So like
For
I felt-
me, I also gave her a 5 out of 5, obviously. I do think there is a little bit of like pick me energy and like contrarian energy that has happened since the show ended, where like people don't like Lea Michele, and so as an extension of that, they're like, Rachel wasn't the best singer, it was X. And I do think that there are one or two cast members where it absolutely is an argument that they could be a better singer than Lea. Amber Riley comes to mind. Like, their voices are so different, they just can't, neither of them can do the same thing, so it's like a kind of hard comparison. But I would say that Amber Riley vocally is probably as talented as Lea Michele. It's just a different type of voice and music. But the people be pissing me off trying to act like every Tom, Dick, and Harry that walked into the choir room is a better singer than Rachel. Can you get a fucking grip? There's a reason that she was the star, and it's because her singing is impeccable.
I saw a post where it was like, unpopular opinion, but I honestly think like Jessie St. James was a better singer than Rachel Berry, and I was like, bitch.
And Jonathan Groff punched that person in the face because even he knew.
He knew. He didn't even
So,
try.
of course, musicality 5. Do we have a favorite Rachel performance we can shout out here?
Oh my god.
Mine is My Man from season 2.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Great song. I also really have a guilty pleasure for Gives You Hell.
Gives You Hell. That's a fun one. I like that song.
I think it's very underrated.
Finn was gagged.
Finn was gagged. Praise in that performance.
Yeah. All right. Final category for Rachel is storyline.
Can I start?
You can start.
Don't react.
Don't tell me that. Don't do this.
You're like, we were doing so well. I gave her a 4, and let me explain. I think that, and this can be said for later on when we get to Finn, that at some points I want to learn about the character and not just the relationships. And I feel like in season 1 and 2, not in season 3, they kind of fixed it, because in season 3 it was about her not getting into Nyada. It was like this big thing. I really enjoyed that storyline. The storylines I didn't enjoy after it being reused over and over and over again was the Finn, Quinn, and Rachel love triangle. I was like, here we go again. Like, and we all know how it's gonna end, because Finn's obviously in love with Rachel. Like, because like, what are we stupid? And I also think that Rachel, her best storylines are where she's learning to be a better person and not this love triangle. Like, that's why I said what I said.
I think that what we will find when we get to Finn and Quinn is that the Finn, Quinn, Rachel love triangle that they dragged out, it should have been over the minute that he found out that that baby wasn't his. That should have been the end of Finn and Quinn forever. I think that dragging out that storyline came at a detriment to all 3 characters and to the show at large. And I totally see what you're saying. However, I'm judging this in the relativity of I'm trying to be nice about it, the capacity of the Glee writers, which doesn't seem, it's not like you're watching something with some sort of cohesive vision.
We're not watching like Succession.
Yeah, no. So,
you know,
I gave her a 5, and I do think you made very valid points. The only thing that I will say is all the characters suffer from them like spending way too much time on romantic relationships and not enough on friendships and the things going on in their lives. But the reason I ranked Rachel so highly is because out of all the characters, she's the one that from the very beginning has had a thematic through line of like, she has always wanted to go to Broadway, and she has always struggled with the pull and push of her New York dream versus where she comes from. And that was something that literally played out until from the pilot all the way to the very last episode, which is like, I can't really think of any other characters that have had a storyline that existed from the pilot to the very last episode. Like, her dreams, her drive, her persistence has informed and shaped every decision that character made. And so that to me is a level of consistency we're not going to get with most of the other characters. So I gave her a 5 out of 5. I also think that they were able to do a lot of interesting stuff with her. I think the worst of it was like Brody being a prostitute. I was like, what the
And I know Brody's not on this list, but let me just say, zeros across the board.
But also,
for
I was
Brody.
like, they acted like they found out he was a serial killer. Like, he was
Yeah.
just a sex worker. Like,
And he
I
also,
understand wanting to break up with him, but they were mad at him like he killed their family. Anyway, so that aside, but I just mean, like, the fact that we spent an entire season watching her audition for Funny Girl before she even got close to, like, performing it. Like, that sort of stuff, to me, was really, really great. And I loved that. All right. Rachel, for me, gets a 15 out of 15. For you, a 14 out of 15.
okay, I think that's still a good score. She passed.
Well,
That's my
as
validation.
Rachel
Pass.
Berry would agree, anything less than perfect is not good enough. So, we're going to move on to our next character now, the other arguable lead of our show, one Mr. Finn Hudson.
My second favorite Glee character.
He's also my second favorite Glee character.
So much.
King. All right, so we'll start with our first category, which is comedy. What did you give him?
5. I gave him a 5 because literally and he's like unintentionally funny sometimes. And my favorite Finn line of all, like, comedy line of all time is the sex ed episode where he goes, "Wait, cucumbers can give you AIDS?" The way he delivers that line is so good.
Who could forget when he shook the earth with, "I want to get married now. I have Jim."
Jim. I think, and also when they allow him to be funny, he's in my opinion, the funniest person on the show.
I think I'll start this by saying I also gave him a 5 out of 5 in this category. Cory Monteith had such great comedic timing. He was so funny, and Finn made me laugh always at least once an episode. I just want to give major props because a lot of that was Cory's performance. Like, there were moments like in the Saturday Night Fever episode where they do the dance off and Finn just gets up there and does the, like, disco hand for, like, literally 3 minutes, and everyone's like, okay. And it's like, that moment isn't funny on paper. That moment only works because Cory Monteith is playing him and is just so funny at being, like, this guileless, a little bit naive, but well-intentioned. He's like Andy Dwyer, but just a lot more smart. Like, that's kind of the vibe. And so I gave him a 5 out of 5. Hysterically funny.
I always, just to bring this up, I always say that Cory Monteith would have been the perfect Star-Lord. Chris Pratt,
He would have.
Praise. Like, his comedic timing would have been...
Chris Pratt, you are lucky that script didn't fall in Cory Monteith's lap while he was here. Yeah, agreed. Okay, the next category is going to be musicality. What did you give him?
Okay, when they use his voice right in, like, rock, it's 5. Like, when he sang "Losing My Religion," first of all, I don't even fucking like that song. I think it's corny as shit. But when I listen to Finn sing it, I'm like, that's me in the corner. Like, that, it's, like, the way he sings it is so satisfying. And also, my favorite Finn song, Jesse's Girl, that was the perfect use of his voice, and that's like a 5 out of 5. But they keep giving him these fuck-ass, stupid numbers, so we weren't able to see it. But I still gave him a 5.
I gave him a 4 out of 5 because I think I agree with you that his voice has got, like, a certain slant on it, and that's what I took the point off for, is because there are cast members that are really versatile. Like, if you look at somebody like Blaine, he can do it all. He can do pop, he can do musical theater, he could do rock. He did such a good performance of Don't Stop Me Now. Like, he can literally do anything. And I feel like Cory was an excellent singer, but not in his voice didn't fit into certain contexts. Like, when they made him do that cover of, what is it, A House Is Not a Home, I was like,
Stop, don't remind me of that.
Yeah, that's not a great Finn
also,
number.
the moment where his mom found out that his girlfriend, because he was singing to a fucking sonogram.
I can't watch that. Yeah, Stand By Me. That's going to be a hard
another
no.
crime Ryan Murphy.
I took a point off just for a lack of versatility, but like you said, when they put him where he belonged, so, like, classic rock, Paradise by the Dashboard Light is, like, one of the best vocal performances by any guy on this show ever. He slayed. Final category is storyline. What did you say?
I also gave Finn a 4 because he has also been cursed by that god-awful love triangle. I think my favorite storyline that they did was in season 3 and 4, well, they're different storylines, but season 3 where he found out that his dad he like was disgraced, he wasn't really a good person, and that changes everything that we had learned in the pilot about
Yeah.
why he wants to be a good man. And then in season 4, when he also still kind of not does what his dad did, but also leave the army kind of dishonorably, and he's back in high school teaching a glee club, and he doesn't really know what he wants to do. I found that so interesting. I wish they could have continued that storyline, because I think it was the best storyline we got from him. Then they ruined it by making him kiss Emma. That's not canon. That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
I literally had blocked that out of my mind. I feel like it just happened for the first time again.
There's a video of me first watching that and me screaming in fear. I think they completely ruined it, because they're like, if Finn isn't in love with somebody, then it's not a good storyline.
They ruin literally every interesting plot on this show with romance where it doesn't need to be. Remember when Sam dated the school nurse?
Yeah,
and that was like 4 whole
random.
episodes. I was like, ay, just go get the Band-Aid and leave. Everybody be fucking. That's the rule of Glee.
Fucking.
Everybody be fucking. They have it up on the wall at William McKinley. Everybody be fucking.
Like, get back to Finn, but also, like, it was kind of crazy that they literally went to the school dance together and nobody thought it was weird.
And he's 18 and she's a school nurse. Moving on.
Anyways.
I gave Finn a 3 in the storyline category, because I think that after he finds out about Quinn's pregnancy all the way through when he finds out about his dad in season 3, he basically has no storyline. Like, I mean, it's basically like, oh my god, it's so hard to be in football and Glee, and also Rachel and Quinn and Rachel and Quinn and Rachel and Quinn. I think he had a lot of interesting moments with Kurt and his family becoming blended. I think that the storyline he had with Bert was fantastic and really interesting, and his growth in terms of homophobia and having a gay brother and all that sort of stuff. That was really good. I really liked the episode where Bert and Carol got married. I thought that was really sweet. Like, his struggles and then eventual acceptance was a great long storyline. But it's a shame, because like what you were saying is true, where like I feel like his storyline got the most interesting at the end, and like we'll never know how it was supposed to play out. But I think because Ryan Murphy has said like his original intent was that Finn would take over the Glee club and become the Glee teacher, and that Rachel would like split her time between New York and Ohio. And so it's a shame we didn't really get to see that finish up, because first of all, it got so bogged down in that Will, Finn, Emma drama, which was so unnecessary and out of character and crazy. But then 2, it was like, I don't know, it felt like that sort of derailed the steady track that he was on to take over for the Glee club, which also would have sent Mr. Schue to Washington to like take the next step in his storyline as well, which is like really frustrating. So we'll never know what they would have done with it. I'm sure they would have fucked it right up like they did everything else, but it would have been nice to see it come to fruition regardless. Okay, next characters. Oh wait, we didn't give our full ranking.
Shit.
For me, for Finn, it's a 12 out of 15.
It's a 14 out of 15. Fuck you. Second favorite character, my ass.
All right, next, I said it's not the character's fault, it's the writer's fault. Next character is the Queen Bee herself, Ms. Quinn Fabray. Ms. Quinn Fabray. We love you.
Please get a job. Please get a job. Please.
Okay. Glee. No, Dianna. So for comedy, out of 5, I gave her a 2.
I was nice and I gave her a 3.
Okay, so we're kind of aligned on this.
She was funny. She was funny.
Yes, when they let her be funny, she had great timing and was
honestly
really...
the funniest she was to me 2 times was when Finn and Rachel were talking and she came over. It was like pilot episode, second episode, and she just goes, "Hi Finn, RuPaul," to Rachel. That's so funny. That's so funny to me. Maybe I'm an asshole. That's so funny. And then during season 2, when Finn and Rachel sing that offensive song to throw the competition, and Quinn says, "I seriously wanted to punch both of you."
My favorite Quinn moment is in season 3, at booty camp, when Mercedes is like, "Sorry, I overslept," and she goes, "It's 4:30 in the afternoon." I also thought, you know who I thought was in unintentionally funny was Skank Quinn. She's like, I want couches underneath the bleachers. I've realized that after smoking all day, it hurts to stand.
That's funny, but
those moments were very
very
few and far between. It wasn't really the purpose of her character. She wasn't really there to be a comedic device. She was there very much to be a dramatic device, and that's okay. And we still love her. The damn queen. She's still in my top 4.
Please get employed, please.
Musicality, I gave her a 3 out of 5.
I also gave her a 3.
I think she has a beautiful voice. It's not super wide ranging. I loved when she got to perform, and that's that on that.
I will say she sang best when she was giving like jazz.
Yeah.
She never was.
Or like oldies.
I'm also biased because we did see her sing live, and it was the best thing
We saw
ever.
Dianna at Cafe Carlisle. It was fantastic.
She sang Madeline Happy Birthday.
She sang me happy birthday. Iconic. Diva. Do we have any favorite Quinn performances we want to shout out? For me, what pops up is Never Can Say Goodbye, season 3. Excellent work. It's a Man's World, season 1. So good. I love Toxic, season 5.
Season 5.
The one with the Unholy
Season
Trinity. 2. Not season 2.
Not
good
season
God.
2.
No.
I think my favorite Quinn song is probably Never Can Say Goodbye.
It's so good.
Wait, I also like the duet she did with, what was that fucking kid's name from season 3?
Joe.
Saving
All My Love for You,
Saving All
Whitney
My Love.
Houston.
I thought that was a really good use of her voice. And
Whitney
dubbed.
Whitney dubbed Dianna her heir apparent. She was like, it's Whitney Houston and then it's Dianna Agron. All right, storyline. What are we giving her?
2. Well, let me expand on that.
No, I'm thinking because even in this moment, I'm questioning my. Can I hear your argument? Because it might make me change my mind.
I loved every storyline where it was a prom or a homecoming, and she was like, I just want to be perfect. I need to. That was so interesting to watch. But she is the #1 victim of that god awful love triangle. She was always found dead in a ditch in that triangle. Literally, I think Finn and Rachel can redeem themselves from that because they come out on top of that. Quinn doesn't. So literally after season 3, obviously season 4, Dianna was kind of like deuces, but also like Ryan probably didn't know what the fuck to do with her character because they're like, Finn and Rachel for Quinn, write her off because it's like.
I mean, to be fair, Dianna wanted to leave.
Yeah. I don't know why.
I gave her a 3 out of 5, like right in the middle, because here's the thing. I think they gave her a lot of excellent storylines. They just gave her too many of them, first of all. And then second of all, they all happened in quick succession way too fast. Like there was too much happening all the time for Quinn. Like she literally did not get a damn second to catch her breath. They were like, boom, pregnant. Boom, kicked out. Boom, your baby father finds out that, you know, that he's not the real dad.
Boom, your hair red again,
with your boyfriend.
ironic.
Boom, you're moving in with Mercedes. Boom, you're helping Mercedes with an eating disorder. And then you go to season 2, it's like, boom, love triangle. Boom, dumped. Like, boom, haircut. Boom, psychotic break. Boom, you're a skank. Boom, you're going to be hit by a car and be unskank. Boom, trying to steal your baby back. Boom, trying to frame her adoptive mother for child abuse charges. I was like, I couldn't. My head is spinning, and I didn't even have to write or act this. I couldn't even imagine. As a viewer, it's just like every week she was taking the fucking L. But that being said, I will say I am in complete agreement with you that her best storylines to me were the understated ones, not the ones where she gets a Ryan Seacrest tattoo, not the ones where she's hit by a truck and paralyzed.
Fucking truck.
Her best storylines were the kind of like, why does she want to be prom queen so badly ones where you really got to explore her psyche. And like, for me, I'm gonna say something controversial, which is that I love Lucy Caboose as a Glee fan and as part of the lore. But if I were writing the show, Lucy Caboose would have never been a thing. I think it's far more interesting.
They only did it for 1 episode, and then they're like, well,
yeah. I think it's far more interesting to have her instead of having her be like overcompensating for Lucy Caboose, for her to have always been prim and perfect, but her constant search for acceptance and love, and prom queen is the ultimate symbol of that, because she came from a loveless home where love was conditional upon perfection, and like her parents' marriage was broken, so her relationship to men is broken. Like they never really that was the most interesting thing to me about her as a character, and it was so in line with like the kids that would live in Ohio, like this very conservative family who Quinn is watching her mom basically serve her dad, and a dad whose love is conditional upon perfection. For her, now she needs to seek out the approval that she can't get from him post pregnancy, from, you know, Finn or Puck or Sam or whoever it is. I felt like that should have been explored a lot more. The other thing I'm going to say is the storyline where she goes like becomes a skank and then like goes crazy trying to get her baby back. I don't hate that. It just should have happened at the beginning of season 2.
Yeah.
The fact that there was this whole season of her not giving a fuck about that baby, and then all of a sudden it's like, it ruined my life tonight. It's like, I'm sorry, but they're teenagers. There's no way that she would have for a whole year been like, whatever. And then like all of a sudden she's like traumatized by her. It's like, no, that should have happened at the beginning of season 2. And then it should have been her slowly making her way back to whatever. I can't rewrite the past.
We can't.
I can't rewrite the past.
Also, she was a lesbian. Let's just make this clear.
I agree. Let's talk about it. I think she was using men as social capital, and not because she actually liked any of them.
She was in love with Santana.
Quintana forever.
Santana
for real.
forever.
Okay, so my ultimate score for Quinn ended up being an 8 out of 15. But we love you, Queen.
Love you.
Yeah.
Please be employed. Please get a job. Okay.
Okay, next we have most people's, I would say the general population's favorite character, Miss Santana Lopez. So comedy, I gave her a 5 out of 5. 5 out of 5. Just the rant where she destroys Kurt for a minute straight.
Oh, Kurt, can I have a word with you? Oh, I'm gonna go.
No, you'd rather stay. Kurt, I took what you said to heart, and I thought long and hard about it, and it occurred to me that you may have a point. Okay, maybe Brittany and I are too young to get married. I mean, after all, that's why it didn't work out with you and Blaine, right? Or maybe it didn't work out because you're a judgmental little Torontophile with a mouth like a cat's ass. Maybe Blaine got tired of hearing a shrill, self-aggrandizing lecture about how you felt the two of you were at the very apex of the gay rights movement every time you so much as cooked macaroni and cheese together or farted. Maybe Blaine didn't want to be with someone who looks like they just removed their top row of dentures every time they smile, or someone who doesn't dress like an extra out of one of Andy Dick's more elaborate wet dreams. Maybe Blaine grew weary of dating a breathier, more feminine Quinn Fabray. Maybe he finally got freaked out by your strange obsession with old people that causes you to skulk around nursing homes like one of those cats that can smell cancer. Maybe he got tired of watching you drape yourself on every piano you happen past to entertain exactly no one with. Say some song that Judy Garland choked on her tongue in the middle of, or some sassy old Broadway standard made famous by another dead alcoholic crone. Maybe Blaine woke up one day and said, you know what? I don't want to marry a sexless, self-centered baton twirler. Maybe I need someone who knows more than 3 dance moves. The finger wag, the shoulder shimmy, and the one where you pretend to twirl 2 invisible rainbow-colored ribbons attached to your hips. So you know what? Maybe that's why it didn't work out. Maybe it has nothing to do with me and Brittany. Maybe it's just that you are utterly, utterly intolerable. Maybe that has something to do with it.
I was just about to bring that up because you would think her comedy would get worse like everybody else's during season 5 and season 6, but no. It
Hers
only
got better.
Stronger.
Yeah. And also, I love that Naya was just kind of supposed to be this side, like, extra, basically, to, like, follow Quinn around, but was just one of the most funny, talented, like, best timing. Like, they weren't even really writing for her, and they had no idea that they literally had the funniest fucking person on the face of the earth. Everything she says is hysterical. Everything she does is so funny. Her reactions, when, you know, they do those, like, fun reactions, of people being, even she was weirded the fuck out in the choir room. Hers were always my absolute favorite. Trouty Mouth alone has brought me more joy and more laughs than Chuckles the Clown has brought a cancer ward. Like, I was laughing.
Dang.
We love Trouty Mouth. Anyway, so I gave her a 5 out of 5 comedy.
I also gave her a 5 out of 5. The best Santana line of all time is, because I just try to be really, really honest with people when I think that they suck, you know? Like, where's her Emmy?
I know.
Let's have that fucking conversation.
She should have won something for Santana.
Anyways.
Musicality, 5 out of 5.
It's so crazy because, like you said, like, she wasn't like a main character in season 1, and she has this amazing voice, and I think they used it in perfect ways every time, and even if they didn't, Naya's voice just makes up for that because it's so good.
It's so good. And I think she also is one of those people who has that versatility strength where, like, she can do Alfie and it sounds incredible, and then she can do River Deep Mountain High and it sounds incredible, and she can do Mine by Taylor Swift and it sounds incredible. Like, she could hop across every single genre and make the song sound so gorgeous. And so not just an incredible voice with like a really wide range, but just very soulful, and she just really had like that versatility that makes for like the best kind of Glee cast member, I think.
Yeah. And the best Santana song, when I say best Santana song, you say?
Wait, what's your answer? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. She has so many good ones. How am I supposed to
We're
pick?
looking for The Boy Is Mine, Madeline.
No, it's not that one. I don't know what it is, but it's not that
The
one.
Boy Is Mine.
I feel
want
like
to rip you a new one for not saying the
Valerie?
Actually, no. Her best song is Back to Black.
Yeah, Back to Black? Like, I don't know.
I'm tired. See, that's how good she is.
She's so good. She has a whole catalog. She's excellent. Nutbush City Limits?
That's good. Well, Madeline lore. Madeline is in the fan video for Naya's song, and I think you guys should go look for it.
I am in a 12-year-old Madeline is in Naya Rivera's Sorry featuring Big Sean fan video, which is still up on her channel today. And I used Video Star, so it's like 3 blue panels of me with a flower crown. Moving on. Storyline, I gave her a 5 out of 5 actually for this.
5 out of 5. They never wasted all of her writing. This is not to be like a film major, but I am a film major and a writer, and I think that they wrote her character perfectly most of the time. Season 5 and some of season 6 excluded. Everything she did was always in character and amazing. And my favorite Santana storyline was definitely the one where some people are going to hate this, where she broke up with Brittany and moved to New York, and I think that was her best storyline. I really enjoyed that storyline.
I think I gave her a 5 out of 5 because from the moment that she was allowed to start having storylines in season 2, it just was never, like you said, she was kind of never wasted. I feel like in season 2, obviously her coming out story, which then expanded into season 3, was really well done, well crafted, very careful, and also it was one of the few storylines that they allowed to happen over a long period of time, which I think served it much better. And then after she came out and after she's dating Brittany, kind of showing what that looks like and what that means, and also interweaving that with her college storyline and like her being this like uber talented, super confident, like cock of the walk at McKinley, but then not knowing what is going to happen after that was super fascinating as well. I loved it when she moved to New York. Like, honestly, for comedy, Santana moving into their apartment in New York was one of the funniest storylines on the whole show. I love how you pretend to be all accepting, but when your friend shows up unannounced, moves into your place rent-free, and goes through all your stuff, you're annoyed? Yeah, like, I loved that whole storyline. The way that she fished out Brody was so fun. Even though I don't like that storyline, her part of it was the best part of it. I just think, they lost her a little around season 5 and season 6, but those seasons don't exist. Yeah, so
great.
I gave her a 5 out of 5. And Santana is now the second character who's gotten a 15 out of 15.
15 out of 15.
All right, moving on to her romantic partner, Miss Brittany S. Pierce. What are we giving her for comedy?
She's literally here for comedy.
I gave her a 5 out of 5.
The best use of her every time is when someone in that Glee club sounds bad and it cuts her, and she's like,
my favorite thing in the world is when everyone else is reacting to a performance like, what the fuck? And Brittany is like, it's my favorite. When they're doing Afternoon Delight and she's like, It's my favorite thing in the world.
My favorite is when Rachel sang The Climb and it cuts to Brittany and Brittany's
Brittany being like and
she's
everyone else is like so good. Everything that she says is absolutely hysterical. Heather Morris just carved out this niche that to me never really got old. Like the way she delivered all of her lines was so funny. What are you going for Halloween?
going as a peanut allergy. I thought you were genuinely asking.
One of the best lines of the whole show. I'm going as a peanut allergy.
Or though.
I just love Brittany. I think she's so funny.
I also like
There's
those
nothing she says that's not funny. So 5 out of 5. What about
glimpses of like that with Kurt and Brittany where we see characters that don't always
that don't always interact. And
So
we
we
should
know
have
that
gotten
they're
more
all
of that, but we were too busy bouncing between Finn, Rachel, and Quinn.
Yeah.
Okay, for musicality, I gave her a 4 out of 5 because even though she's not the best singer, she is hands down the best dancer. So I was like 4 out of 5 because
I gave her a 3 out of 5.
okay.
But that's because I was thinking of her more as like a dancer than a singer. And
Yeah.
when I say best Britney song, you say?
I don't know. Can you just
Personally, my favorite's Dinosaur.
Dinosaur?
I think that fit her voice very well.
It fit her voice, but like I don't listen to it.
Okay, fuck you.
I mean, I don't judge. This is the thing too, is like I don't really listen to Britney solos like on the train or like, do you know what I mean? I don't listen to it as music. The only capacity in which I'm judging a Britney number is by the dancing and what I'm watching. And so if I'm judging it based on that, I would say like Run the World Girls was pretty fun. And I really like TikTok before they all throw up. That was really fun. I like that one. And obviously like literally everything in the Brittany episode. So like her doing Me Against the Music with Santana or
the episode 2. Why no Brittany?
Slave for You. Yeah, I think everything where she's dancing is like, it's Coco Melon to me. I could watch it for hours and hours and never get bored. Okay, and now finally for storyline, I gave her a 2 out of 5.
I gave her a 1.
Oh,
Our first
I was generous.
Episode.
I gave
I
her a
was
2 out of 5
bored.
because I'm giving her props for the season 2 of it all, where she actually had a storyline. And then season 3, they were like, it's like all about Santana. We never hear about Brittany's coming out. We never hear about her family or how they feel about it. And then I guess the other thing too is like, cause she's supposed to be going to college, but she's so like dumb that she's like, that was another funny line. I got accepted to Purdue. The university. No, the chicken factory. But like obviously she's not going to college because she's dumb. But then what that means is then that's like dramatic tension that doesn't exist now because she knows she's staying at school. So like then she had no storyline. And then after that we completely lost the plot because Heather Morris had to go have her baby. And so they wrote her off by making her a weird freaky genius who had to go to MIT or like genius school or something, which was so absurd. Even for this show, I thought that storyline was so awful and absurd. I was like, we're clocking out. Like this is over. And then the rest of her storyline for the whole rest of the show is Santana. She doesn't really have anything to do as just Brittany. So I'm like,
I give her 1 because I was bored. Frankly, every time like that Rory storyline where she thinks he's a replicon, I was like, I don't.
No, literally,
up.
I can't.
Care less. Frankly.
Yeah. Okay, so overall, Brittany very much hampered by the old storyline. I gave her a 8 out of 15.
I can't do math. Well, it was.
I can't read.
I can't read. Ryan Murphy, you're gonna pay for your crimes, is what we're getting at.
Yes. All right, we're getting up there in time, and I'm being mindful of that. So I think we'll do 2 more characters, and then if it does okay, and you guys want to see more, we can do more.
Yeah.
But we're gonna start or finish these last 2 with. Olive's about to become insufferable. Blaine Anderson.
Oh, that's 5s across the board. If you can't tell, Blaine is my favorite. Darren, Criss, we love you. We love you. You are employed. We love you. We love you. I want to see you on Broadway, King.
Okay, what did you give him for comedy?
5.
I gave him a 4.
I gave him a 5 because every single time he was going to be funny, he was funny. It looks weird if I just have hands. That and also okay, season 5 sucked, but also jeez, Brad, warn me
before you talk.
Like,
Blaine was really funny. I think Blaine got like funnier as the seasons went on. They like allowed him to be funny. I think Blaine's strength is that a lot of the time he's funniest, like not trying to be fun. Like, do you know what I mean? Like we kind of assign the funny to him, which is a nice, I like it when characters are that way. And I think they definitely allowed him to get funnier over the years, but I gave him a point off for season 2 because did he crack a joke that whole season? Like
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. When Kurt and Blaine go to Karofsky and they're
well, he's not coming out anytime soon. It doesn't count.
Yes, it does.
It does not count.
Yes, it
That's
does.
not, that was just like a
that
that's
counts.
just like dialogue. That's not a joke.
It is.
Okay, what it's a joke to them, but I'm saying as a viewer of a TV show, it's not a joke. Anyway,
okay.
It's fine. It's okay. I gave him a 4 out of 5. Okay, musicality, I gave him a 4 out of 5.
Oh!
I gave him a 4 out of 5 because he's a great singer, great dancer, very versatile, but he doesn't have the widest range and he's not the best singer in the Glee Club. I think Finn is a better singer than him. Olive's left the frame.
Not coming back. Okay, I gave him a 5 out of 5 because like what you said, he's versatile. He's versatile. He can sing show tunes, pop, folk, rock. He can sing literally everything. And also, what do you mean a 4? I don't even know what to say to that. A 4? A fucking 4?
He's great.
Broadway alum? Darren Criss? Have you heard
great.
the Star Kid
He's
musicals?
great. But can he sing as well as Leah Michele or Naya Rivera? That's what he's up against on this show.
Okay.
No.
No,
is
you
the answer to
cannot
that, by
compare
the way.
Darren Criss to Leah Michele because you know damn well he's losing and you know damn well that's true.
Exactly, that's what he's up against. I can't give her a 5 out of 5 and him a 4 out of 5. That doesn't make any sense. Moving on. Storyline, I gave him a 2 out of 5.
Oh!
It's getting real. It's getting real with Blaine.
I flip over my fucking table. I gave him a 5 out of 5.
What a surprise.
Let me tell you why. Because in season 2, obviously his main thing was being another gay kid who Kurt is in love with. That was obviously. But then season 3 and season 4, and dare I say it, season 5, we get to see a little bit more of his personality.
Yeah, like when he's dating Karofsky or whatever.
Okay, Fine, let's talk about season 5 where we discuss his eating disorder. Don't you feel ridiculous now?
His eating disorder being that he's addicted to cronuts.
Not his eating disorder.
Blink,
that was
blink.
the words. But how he's insecure with his relationship with Kurt and how he feels like he's not good at, like, those are good storylines. And I feel like they're good storylines that are perfect for that amount of time that they were given. Okay.
I'm glad you said what you said because the reason I gave him a 2 out of 5 is because he has basically no individual storylines outside of Kurt for the entire run of the show. And some of them were good, like you said, like I thought the transition of their relationship from Ohio to New York, where Kurt becomes the alpha and he becomes like less than him, which when it was the opposite in Ohio, super interesting, super like different, like okay, great, yay, yippee, but like okay, it's like it's compelling in that like the moments where he's like worried that Kurt's going to college and he's not yet, but it's like oh my god, all of it, the cheating, it's like it's all about Kurt all the time. Even after they break up and he's not dating Kurt, it's all about Kurt, like all the fucking time. I really enjoyed Sam and Blaine's relationship. I really enjoyed watching their friendship blossom and them become like kind of an individual entity that Kurt had nothing to do with because Blaine was just not really allowed to have that. I really liked the struggle after Kurt left, whether or not he should go back to the Warblers. It's like, okay, now we're cooking with gas, like that's something. And then also
timing. I didn't come here to sing a
song. Whoa. Yeah, I like the presidential debate where he's like, it's the first step towards tyranny, banning hair gel. Then they'll start banning books, and I'm pretty sure they'll start burning people too. Season 4 is underrated. It is so funny.
It's underrated. Also,
but yeah, I'm sorry, 2 out of 5 because can we come up with something else? Like Kurt was always dragging that man like chains around his ankles to the pits of no storyline.
Anyways.
So I gave him a total, I'll div mine first because yours is going to be more generous. I gave him a 10 out of 15.
Well, shit. I gave it a 15 out of 15 because he's a perfect character. Also, I just want to say 2 things. One, Take a Look at Me Now is my favorite Blaine song, and in my opinion, his most underrated and best song. And 2,
Crazy when it's actually I didn't come here to teach you how to dance. What's it called? What's the name of that song?
my God, I'm not gonna teach your
I
boyfriend. How to
didn't come here.
That's second,
That's
Madeline.
the best one. But okay,
And
go on.
Second is that my unpopular opinion is that Sam and Blaine had more chemistry than Kurt and Blaine near the end, and they should have at least.
I agree with that. I agree with that, by the way. Court Overstreet could have chemistry with a wall.
Literally.
I agree with that. Okay, we're nearly at an hour, so I'm going to have us do one more character, and then if you guys like it, we can always come back and do this again. But we're going to end with the breakout character of the show, I would say, who definitely kind of skyrocketed it to another level of phenomenon, which is Kurt Hummel.
I love him.
Love him.
You need to stop fucking. I mean, they're great fantasy books. Big fan, Chris Colfer. But can you get your ass in like a Broadway?
I need him to do a cabaret show.
Like literally, I need him in Cabaret. Get him in. It's back. Get him in Cabaret. Anyways,
comedy, I gave him a 4 out of 5 because he is really funny all the time. But there were some times that he bordered on a little annoying, and I also think that they allowed him to be a little less funny over time.
I also gave him a 4 out of 5, and his best comedy line is, "No, she's dead. This is her son."
So good. My favorite is she here? No, this is a mall in Ohio at the Barbervention. I like that one. Musicality, I also gave him a 4 out of 5 because I think he's an excellent singer, but again, does not have versatility. I don't think that he can do every genre. He's like kind of musical theater only to me.
I gave him a 5 out of 5 because I don't care. And I think he's just an amazing singer. And I think it's kind of bullshit.
He's a fantastic singer.
That you gave Rachel a 5 out of 5 when she's not very versatile.
Not very versatile. They had Leah Michele up in that piece doing Katy Perry, Barbara Streisand. What? I didn't say it was her best, but she fucking nailed it. That's kind of the point. Shit, they had her do Creep by Radiohead. She nailed it. They had her do Firework by Katy Perry. She nailed it. They had her do My Man, Barbara Streisand. She nailed it. Uninvited, Celine Dion. You fucking name it. She'll fucking do it. And she'll do it better than the original artist who sang it. So shut up. I don't want to hear from you anymore. We're moving on. 5 out of 5. So, storyline, I gave him a 5 out of 5.
I also gave him a 5 out of 5. He's one of the few characters that actually
had a solid storyline the whole show. Yeah.
Had a storyline that cohesively.
And part of the reason I'm giving him a 5 out of 5 is because his storyline with Mike O'Malley, Bert, is probably my favorite storyline in the entire show.
Who we saw at Cape Cod, and we were both too scared to go up.
I was too scared to go up to him. I saw Mike O'Malley at Cape Cod, and I was too scared to say hi to him. My mom was like, go, go, go. And I was like, no, oh my God, he's on vacation.
You know,
he's probably being swarmed all the time, Mike O'Malley. Yeah, I think that Kurt, obviously, he could have been a really one note. Like, his whole character could have been about him being gay. And, like, obviously that's a big part of his character and his storyline, like, coming out, his deal, him bullying and having to transfer schools and dating and all that stuff. But honestly, it was really impressive how they were able to kind of make him so multidimensional. I loved his relationship with his dad. I loved every single scene and storyline that they had together. I loved Kurt's struggle to individualize when he was going to college. I loved the storyline of him moving to New York with no job and no college and no plan. Yeah. I loved him sort of figuring out in real time, like, oh, maybe I'm like hot stuff in Lima, but I'm not hot stuff here. Like, I loved it all. I loved him going home to like resurrect the Glee Club. It made sense that he would be the person to do that. I felt like they never really lost the plot with Kurt, and they did with literally every other character on this show. So 5 out of 5, Kurt. Well done to the writers on him. Cool. So that means that Kurt, for me, gets, I'm like shuffling through papers like I'm Giuliani on the stand. Hold on.
I gave him a 15 out of 15. So you're
I think mine is a 13 out of 15.
Blaine and Kurt, not 15 out of 15s. So, Madeline, let's unpack your homophobia today.
Have they tried being women? Because Santana got a perfect 15 score and she's a lesbian. So... But I will say, for those of you watching, we have so many more characters that we haven't done yet. We ranked Sam, we ranked Schuster, we ranked Sue, we ranked Artie, we ranked Mercedes. So if you would like to see more of this, you can definitely comment down below or let me know. I'm sure nobody is trigger shy on the comments around here. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you, Olive, for being my guest, even though we're never speaking again after this. And I will be back. I'm going on vacation, but I will be back next week with another video. Bye!